Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something that seems pretty simple on the surface.
Yeah, just a script detailing the daily routines of two classmates, Mark and Lisa.
Exactly. But we're going to unpack it, really look at it as a kind of blueprint for managing time, maybe even managing energy.
Because it's not just a schedule, is it? When you track these two, you see, well, almost two different philosophies about how to structure your life.
Okay, explain that a bit.
Well, you've got Mark, who seems to optimize everything for, let's say, energy creation and efficiency.
Right.
And then there's Lisa. She seems to be optimizing more for maybe comfort, connection, something different anyway.
So our mission today is to follow these two, Mark and Lisa, from when they wake up right through to when they go to bed.
And pull out the insights, right? About cognitive behavior, productivity, stuff that you listening might find useful for your own day.
Yeah, seeing the contrast, I think, is key. If you're trying to tweak your own schedule, this is gold.
It really is, because it shows not just what they do, but maybe hints at why they do it. It's like a choice between maximizing output and maximizing maybe restorative time. So yeah, let's unpack the structure they've built.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning. The morning divide, we're calling it. Because straight away, bam, there's a split.
It's a big one.
Mark's up early, like 6 a.m. sharp. A real early bird.
And he's straight into action, isn't he? Brushes teeth, shower, boom, right away.
No messing about. But Lisa, totally different story.
Yeah, she's waking up, what, an hour and a half later, 7:34, and she actually says it, I like to sleep more.
So right there, that first decision of the day, Mark's choosing activation, getting momentum.
While Lisa's prioritizing comfort, maybe easing into the day more, it really shows their different chronotypes, you could say.
And Mark backs up that early start with immediate exercise.
Right. He goes jogging in the park, specifically because he says it's quiet and beautiful in the morning.
So it's not just ticking the exercise box. It sounds like it's also about mental space, getting some peace before the day kicks off.
Proactive energy creation, you could call it. He's putting in physical effort to get mental clarity, maybe.
Whereas Lisa's morning is, well, different. She mentions she doesn't usually exercise.
No, her routine is just drink coffee and check my phone. It's much more reactive.
Yeah, reacting to waking up, needing caffeine. Mark's building energy.
Lisa's maybe conserving it, relying on the coffee to get going. It's like, build momentum or wait for the day to pull you.
And that flows right into breakfast, doesn't it? How they fuel up.
Absolutely. Mark's breakfast is pretty substantial.
Eggs, bread, milk, or juice. He's very clear why.
I need energy for the day, direct quote. It's strategic. He knows he needs fuel for the long haul.
It connects directly back to that early start and the jogging.
Definitely. It's all a part of a system he's built.
Lisa's breakfast, though, much simpler.
Toast with butter and jam. Sometimes fruit. Quick, easy.
It suggests maybe convenience is the priority. Or just getting started faster. Not necessarily optimizing the energy release, like Mark.
Yeah, maybe optimizing for the shortest path to getting her study day started. Different goals.
Okay, then comes the commute. And this is where Mark does something interesting.
Ah, yeah, the efficiency move. He leaves at 8 a.m., takes the bus. It's about 20 minutes.
Standard commute. But Lisa walks. She lives close, says it's good exercise.
So Lisa integrates physical activity there, naturally.
Which is good. But Mark, he uses that bus time.
Yes, the habit stacking. He listens to English podcasts.
Right. Using that, quote, dead time, turning it into learning time.
Interstitial efficiency, that's the term sometimes used. Squeezing productivity into the gaps.
He's basically refusing to waste a minute.
It's impressive optimization, 20 minutes of passive language practice every day, great for exposure, pronunciation, vocabulary, and context.
So that's a key takeaway for learners right there. Look for those pockets of time.
For sure. But we should add a little caution, maybe.
Oh, what's that?
Well, passive listening on a potentially crowded bus, it's great for frequency, keeping the language present.
Okay.
But it's not the same as deep focus study, you know? There's a quality difference. And always layering tasks like that, Mark might risk burnout or cognitive fatigue. It's a trade-off.
That's a really good point, and it sets up Lisa's approach perfectly, actually. Her midday focus.
Right. After school, she goes home, has lunch, and then she studies.
It's a dedicated block of time for homework or study. And her English practice is specific.
Yeah, she reads short stories, watches videos in English. It sounds very active, very focused.
So same goal, improve English, but totally opposite methods.
Exactly. Mark's got this integrated passive learning kind of frequency over depth.
And Lisa's doing dedicated deep focus. Maybe depth over sheer frequency. or at least balancing it differently.
Lisa's method is probably better for tackling complex grammar, really immersing herself without distractions.
Getting into the nuts and bolts of the language.
Whereas Mark's ensures constant exposure, reinforcing the basics every single day. But he might miss the deeper dive needed for real nuance.
So the question for you listening is, which approach fits you better right now?
Yeah. Do you need Mark's drip feed approach to keep things ticking over? Or Lisa's focused deep work sessions to really master something specific?
Consistency versus intensity. It's a classic dilemma.
It really is.
Okay, so let's move into the evening. The day's winding down. And again, we see differences, big ones.
Independence versus connection, maybe? Well, Mark gets home around 6 p.m. and what does he do? He cooks dinner.
Right, takes care of himself. Simple stuff, he says. Pasta, rice with veggies.
Total self-sufficiency there. And his relaxation. It's also quite independent or virtually connected.
Watching Netflix, reading a book.
Or playing online video games with friends, football, racing, things he controls, ways to decompress on his own terms.
Okay, yeah, I see the independence angle. Now, contrast that with Lisa.
Big contrast. She mentioned she doesn't cook much. Her mother usually does.
So, straight away, less domestic responsibility there.
And her focus after dinner isn't solitary hobbies. It's family.
She helps clean up, then watches TV or talks with her family, and she explicitly says,
family time is important. That's a direct statement of priority.
So while Mark is unwinding through independent activities, Lisa's recharging through social connection.
Restorative social time. That seems to be her priority. Mark might be optimizing for, long-term career focus through that independence. Lisa seems to be optimizing for immediate emotional well-being connection.
And maybe that family time is actually crucial for her academic focus, like a necessary mental break.
Could be. It's a valid strategy. But then there's that little detail about the movie.
Yes, the return disruption. She stayed up late one night.
Until midnight. Watching The Secret Garden.
Which seems like a small thing, but what does it tell us?
I think it's pretty significant, actually. It highlights the difference in stability, maybe. Mark's consistency seems built on, proactive discipline. Lisa's routine, while structured, seems more flexible. Or maybe reactive to things she enjoys, like a good movie or a chat. She's willing to sacrifice some sleep for spontaneity.
Which leads us nicely to the final piece, sleep. The sleep imperative.
Crucial. And Mark is very deliberate here.
He aims for bed around 10:00 or 10:30 p.m. and his goal.
Try to sleep at least 8 hours. That's his target.
That 8 hours underpins everything else, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Your early wake up, the jogging, concentrating on podcasts.
Absolutely. For Mark, sleep isn't an afterthought, it's foundational. His whole efficiency model depends on being properly rested.
Lisa's bedtime. Usually 10:30 or 11 p.m. So similar, maybe slightly later.
But she adds that comment.
I should sleep more. Especially when we're pulling that late night with the movie.
Yeah. So for Mark, the 8 hours seems structural, almost non-negotiable. For Lisa, it sounds more aspirational right now. Something she knows is good, but doesn't always hit.
So pulling it all together, the contrast isn't just about times on a clock.
Not at all. It's about the underlying philosophy, isn't it? Mark's built this machine geared for efficiency, independence, energy creation.
Yeah.
Lisa's built a system around maybe comfort, connection, and these dedicated blocks of focus.
Two very different ways to run your day. And yet...
they both land on the same conclusion.
Right. It's nice to have a routine. It makes the day easier.
So despite the different content of the routines, the structure itself provides value. Mental relief, maybe, less decision fatigue.
That seems to be the common ground. Routine equals cognitive ease.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So the big takeaway for everyone listening, looking at Mark and Lisa, a busy day isn't one size fits all. You structure it based on what you prioritize.
Is it output and energy like Mark? Or focused work and that restorative connection like Lisa?
You get to choose. Your routine reflects your priorities.
And that sets up our final thought for you, something to chew on.
Okay, let's hear it.
We see Mark actively managing his energy early start, exercise, crucially, that dedicated 8 hours of sleep. He's building a solid foundation.
Lisa, she has her dedicated study time, which is great. But she also prioritizes comfort, has a slightly later, perhaps less consistent bedtime, and we see she's open to disruptions, like that midnight movie. Her energy foundation seems Well, maybe less rigorously protected than Mark's.
Okay, so what's the question?
Based purely on that foundation, Mark's solid 8 hours versus Lisa's acknowledgement she should sleep more, how sustainable long-term do you think Lisa's daily habit of reading stories and watching videos will be compared to Mark's embedded habit of listening to podcasts every single commute?
You're asking about consistency.
Exactly, because consistency often relies on having the energy to show up day after day. When that energy foundation is a bit shaky, how long before even valued habits start to slip? Something to think about.
Hey, welcome to The Explainer. You ever get that feeling where you're trying to talk about your day in English and the words just don't come? Well, today we're going to fix that. We are going to break down exactly how to talk about your daily routine step by step so you sound completely natural. Think about it for a second. How would you talk about your day in English? From that first cup of coffee to when you finally crash at night. By the time we're done here, you are going to have all the words and phrases you need to do it with, total confidence. All right, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to meet Lisa and Mark. Then, we'll dive into their mornings, how they get around, what they do after school, and how they wind down. And to wrap it all up, we'll build your very own vocabulary toolkit. Sound good? Let's do it. First up, let's meet our two guides for today, Lisa and Mark. So, Lisa and Mark are classmates, right? But their routines are like night and day. Lisa's kind of laid back. She wakes up later, walks to school. Mark, on the other hand, he's a total early bird and takes the bus. And it's these differences that are going to be super helpful for us, because we'll get to see a whole bunch of different words and phrases.
Okay, let's zoom in on the morning. This is where you can really see how different their styles are.
So the first big difference is when they wake up. Lisa gets up at 7:30, because, hey, she likes her sleep. But Mark, he's up at 6 a.m. on the dot. That's a whole hour and a half earlier. And believe me, that one thing changes their entire morning. And right after waking up, you can see their different vibes. Lisa has a pretty chill start, Sips some coffee, scrolls through her phone. Mark is the complete opposite. He's out the door jogging in the park. Then it's a quick shower and he's ready to go. Totally different energy levels, right?
And what about breakfast? Well, Lisa keeps it light. Just some toast with butter and jam, maybe some fruit. But Mark, after all that jogging, he needs something more substantial. So for him, it's eggs, bread, and some milk or juice. And hey, notice all that simple food vocabulary? Perfect stuff to add to your own word bank.
Okay, so they're awake and they've eaten. Now, how do they get where they're going? Let's talk about the daily commute.
For Lisa, it's super simple. She just walks to school. Why? Because her house is really close. Walk and close, two easy but super useful words. Mark, though, needs to use public transport. And he uses that classic phrase, I take the bus. If you ever use a bus, a train, a subway, take is the verb you want. It's a really important one. All right, the main part of the day is over. So what do they do with their free time? Let's check out their after-hours habits. So what's really cool is that they both use their free time to work on their English, but they do it differently. Lisa likes to read short stories and watch videos. Mark, he's more of a listener, so he's into podcasts. It's a great little reminder, There's no one-size-fits-all way to practice. Okay, we're on the home stretch now. Let's see how they wind down the day. We're talking dinner, relaxing, and finally, bedtime.
When it comes to dinner, we see that contrast again. Lisa's mom usually does the cooking, and Lisa helps out with cleaning up the kitchen. Mark, though, he's on his own. He cooks for himself, usually something simple like pasta or rice.
And how do they relax in the evening? Lisa's time is pretty family-oriented. She'll watch TV or just hang out and talk with her family. Mark's evening is more of a mix. Sometimes he's watching Netflix or reading a book by himself, and other times he's jumping online to play video games with his friends.
And finally, bedtime. You can see Mark is pretty disciplined. He's usually in bed by 10 p.m. Gotta get that sleep, right? Lisa's a little more flexible. Her usual time is around 10:30. But you know how it is. Sometimes a good movie comes on, and suddenly it's midnight.
Okay, now for the part you've been waiting for. Let's take everything we've learned and build a vocabulary toolkit that you can start using right now. Okay, check out these key action verbs. We've got wake up, eat, go, study, watch, and go to bed. Seriously, these are the foundations for talking about any routine. And you can see right here how Lisa and Mark use them.
Let's zoom in on go to bed. This is a super common phrase.
It's not just about being in your room, it's about the action of getting into your bed with a plan to sleep.
And another really important one, take a shower. The magic word here is take. In English, these words just go together. You wouldn't say I do a shower or I make a shower. It just sounds weird. So remember, you always take a shower.
So what's the big idea here? It's pretty simple, actually. Having a routine, even a basic one, just makes your day easier. It gives it structure, and that's exactly what Mark and Lisa figured out too. Okay, your turn. Think about your own day, right now. What's one new word or phrase you learned today that you could use? Maybe it's go jogging or wind down. Just one thing.
And hey, one last question for you, and this goes beyond the language. What about your actual routine? After seeing how Lisa and Mark do things, is there maybe one new habit you'd like to add to your own day? Could be anything, just something to think about. Thanks so much for watching.